BCLEARTV done did it again. Am I clear? BCLEARTV. Can you see me?
Am I clear? Welcome to BCLEARTV. We're sitting here with DMTS, founder of New Britain Legacies, also known as Devon Tanksley, other husband, mentor, and he also is an artist. DMTS.
So DMTS Network, the business. DMTS is my name, and the DMTS Scholarship Fund is just a branch off of the brand.
Okay. So you're known
as DMTS.
As DMTS. Everyone knows you as DMTS. Okay. So, where are you from?
New Britain, Connecticut.
Born and raised.
Born and raised, New Britain, Connecticut.
Would you say that you grew up in poverty in New Britain?
Yes.
You would say so?
Yes, I would say.
What was life like growing up in New Britain?
Coming up I was born in '86. So, if anybody knows, during the time, that was right around the time when crack really hit, like our neighborhoods, the streets. Parents was addicted, drug dealers, violence, guns. Like that was the time in the era where it was really, really, really hard, really violent. So, at the age of 10, it was 1996. So, walking out of our house, it was drugs on the ground, needles on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It was just all around us, and I say it was like it was one of the things where people see like in a scary movie. Just
like a real
movie. Yeah, but real life.
Real life.
But as kids, when you see that as kids, you think it's like you become numb to it. So that's all you see, like every day. I get when I get out of school, there's drug dealers on my left. You look to your right, there's someone's ODing. By the time you walk in the house, there's gunshots being fired. By the time you go upstairs to do your homework, the police is raiding somebody's house. So that type of trauma was just like surrounded by my whole life, my whole family, my friends, all of us. So to us, we thought it was normal, but it wasn't.
What do you think that type of environment did to you at that time in your life?
It made me grow up faster.
Mm-hmm.
It made me realize that I could possibly be a victim as well. A lot of us didn't believe that, we're going to, see adult age. A lot of us used to talk about that. When we make it to like 19, 20, like that.
Did you think that you were going to be something of what you saw around you? Did you think that you were going to be?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you definitely didn't pan out that way.
No. Not for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
There was a cycle that was broken between, but there was drug dealers and there was people who we looked at and was like, well,
that's what you want to be.
Yeah. Because he had money. He was taking care of his family. He had kids. The drug dealers had money. The people that was outside, they had the jewelry, the chains, and the cars. So we, and then the people that we thought was supposed to be our role models, they were like on Section 8. They were on state. They were waiting for food stamps. They were waiting for. So when you have just those two options,
right? That's like what is pick one.
Yeah,
you feel like you got to pick one.
Yeah. So it's like this is what I'm gonna invent.
Mm-hmm.
This person, this thing right here, and that's how we looked at life. That's how all of us looked at life.
Right.
Until we got exposed to something different. Until I got exposed to something different, which is later in my life.
Correct, which we're going to get to in a minute. So from your childhood, before you made that turn in your life, briefly, can you just tell me, what did you endure of making the wrong decision?
So being in the projects, right, there's about 600 families. Mm-hmm. So it's a small community, but everyone shares kind of the same stories. Mm-hmm. And then you have a few of them who actually have like a working mentality or a working life, where some of our friends, they had parents who got up every morning and went to work. Yes.
You're not thinking
like
criminal
your
life.
neighbors, but the ratio to that was, less than 5%.
Right. Where do you feel like you fell in that ratio up until the point where you decided to make a decision to not go that route?
I'll say 7 years old, 8 years old is when all the trouble started in school, out of school. And then I would say 20
in school,
where I actually mentally changed
and turned it around.
Yeah, so you're talking about, over 10 years of the cycle just repeating itself.
Right. 23 is a young age, though. That's a good age to turn things around. A lot of people don't turn things around that young.
You're right.
It takes a while.
And it also took the things that I've been through.
Mhm.
Like from the age 7 to 10 years old, I was expelled from like almost every school in Britain.
Mhm.
Like I would be there for a few months and I would do something real dramatic and get expelled, not suspended. And people understand the difference.
Now,
Suspension and being expelled is two different things.
so you were always in trouble at school.
Yes.
You were fighting, getting expelled. Why do you think you were like going through those trials and tribulations at that age?
Well, it's the great thing about it now is that I'm an adult. So now I see and understand what I was going through. And I think that's why I put my life and my passion and what I do now with kids, because I see it.
You've been there.
So when I was a young kid, I'll give you an example, right? We wake up in the morning. Before we catch the bus, no breakfast. Not because we're not hungry.
Mhm.
It's just no breakfast, no food, right?
Right.
So when we get to school, we either make in time for breakfast or we don't.
Mhm.
Or we have a little something. So imagine being in a classroom
Mhm.
where the night before you couldn't sleep because you heard gunshots all night. Your parents probably was arguing and y'all had nothing to eat that night.
Mhm.
Then you wake up in the morning going to a place where you don't have no idea why you're going, because no one in the school looks like you. Teachers not understanding my situation or my life situation, and wondering why are we acting up in school? Why is this kid acting up?
Nobody knows.
No one knows. Not even a conversation. Not what's going on. Is everything good at home? Did you eat today? And not saying it's their responsibility, but as a teacher, you're working in a poverty neighborhood anyway. So your mentality already is, I got to deal with these kids that really don't care anyways.
Right.
When you got some of them who care, like me.
Right.
Those kids who actually cared, but I didn't get the balance.
Right.
So it made me act up. Also, too, and I learned this now, is that a lot of times kids act up when they're either bored, the work is not challenging, or they can't read or spell, or they can't do the homework or the math or the work. I was one of those kids. I couldn't read, so a lot of kids at that time, you'll be embarrassed.
Right.
I never was embarrassed. It's just that I couldn't read, so I wouldn't do the work. So now I get in trouble. So now I got to leave. Now I'm mad. Now I want to flip tables. I'm 8, 9 years old. Now I'm just being I'm just acting.
Right. You're just reacting.
So now, sent to the principal office, get suspended, come back, do something else, get expelled. We don't want him in our school. And then that, from 7, 8 years old, the trouble began to elevate. So now I get expelled from this school for doing that. Now I get expelled from this school from doing something more major.
Mhm.
And when I was 11 years old, one of my last time that I got expelled, that's when I got sent to Harper detention.
Mhm.
At this time, 11 years old, I'm tussling with my teacher, not knowing that my teacher had stitches on her stomach. So as I'm tussling with her to get my toy back, she pulls away and the stitches rip.
Oh my
It starts to bleed.
God.
So now I'm 11 years old. I get sent to the office, and now the cops and probation officer and everybody come and they remove me and send me
Completely.
to Harper detention. Now, at this time, I still don't know what's going on because I'm 11 years old. I always got expelled or whatever. They put handcuffs on me, shackles on my legs, and I get in the back seat, and not even a phone call to my mom. I'm on the highway to Hartford Detention. And that was an eye opener for me because even on the highway,
At 11 years old.
I'm on the highway going in a whole totally different direction than my house. And now also too, at the same time, I'm seeing things I've never seen before. Like to some people, it may seem weird, but when you're in the projects, there's some people who never seen the beach. There's some people who never seen the highway.
Right.
A lot of our parents didn't have vehicles, didn't have cars.
Right.
So I'm on a highway now, and I see cars. I see the green signs. I see the exit signs. Now I'm in shackles, but I'm looking at this amazed, like, because I don't know where I'm going. Number one.
Right.
And now I'm on the highway, like, opening my mind, like, oh, like there's something other than the project
out there.
Yeah,
Right.
things out there in the world. And I get to Hartford Detention, and I remember this because I remember the counselors and everybody getting involved because it's 7, 8 o'clock at night, and I still haven't phoned my parents. I haven't talked to my mom.
Wow.
And then I get a phone call that night, and I remember talking to my mom and her crying on the other end, and my grandmother, and them asking me, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm terrified. I'm scared. I don't know where I'm going. I'm in the holding cell, just waiting to. And I remember saying to my mom, "Oh no, mom, I'm okay, mom. I'm okay. I'm gonna be home soon." And she was like, "You all right, baby?" I'm like, "I'm okay. I'm good." I didn't even know if I was gonna be okay, but I knew that if I was to feel like I was okay or say I was okay, I knew it would make my mom and my grandmother okay. I remember this from this day, and she remembered it too. And
so you're 11 years old.
11 years old.
Scared really for your life, but at the same time,
I didn't want to.
Eyes wide open, and you don't want them to feel
that pain.
What you're feeling.
Yeah. And every time they would come up to see me, I would tell them I was fine when I was getting in fights every day. Every day I was getting in fights. Because in that environment, in Hartford Detention, you're housed with kids from 10 years old to 15 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it may not seem like a big gap, but when you're 10 and someone's 15, you're big.
Right.
And in Hartford Detention, you used to eat your breakfast. Only your breakfast you eat in the cell.
Mm-hmm.
Lunch and dinner you eat out. So they had this thing where it's called run your food, run your breakfast. So people would take your food. So there was kids who didn't eat.
Oh my God.
When I first got there, for my first couple of days, I didn't eat. So there was times where I'd be on the phone with my mom and I still played. Now I'm okay, I'm good, I'll be home soon, So these people would take your food. Now you're in a cell that's smaller than sometimes your bathroom.
Right.
Or a little bigger, and they put 2 or 3 people in there because they're oversaturated with all these kids.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me you have a bunk bed with 2 kids on there, and then you have these boats with either 1 or 2 kids on. But they're called boats, but they're bed boats. So instead of like a sleeping bag,
yes,
it would be these plastic boats they created in Hartford Detention, and then the mattress will go on the boat.
Oh my goodness!
It's crazy because now that I'm talking about it, I haven't talked about this ever to nobody.
Wow.
Kind of bringing me back to how it was in there. But yeah, you would have these boats and then they'll give you a mattress because it was only supposed to be 2 people per cell. But since it was oversaturated, they would put 1 or 2 boats in there so it becomes 4. So me going in the cell with 4 people, I'm from New Britain. These guys is from different towns. They're older. They've been there. So now I'm the guy they look at and say, tomorrow you got to get your food up. You got to get your breakfast.
As a mother, I'm just overwhelmed. I couldn't imagine my son being in that predicament. Yet you still come back and say, I'm fine.
But think about it, right? Just like you said, as a mother, right?
Yes.
I think I can tell my mom that every morning I get up, they're taking my breakfast. She's already heartbroken because she can't see me.
Right.
She can't help me. She can't fix the situation. Now I get on the phone every day and go, Mom, they're taking my food. Mom, they're taking.
Oh my God.
My mentality at that time, like I said, I had to grow up fast. So mentally, I couldn't imagine getting on the phone crying to my mother. Number one, she couldn't help me even if I cried. So all I would be doing is putting her in a more depressed state, in a more heartbroken state.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at that time, it was more like, I'm okay. So the whole 6 months I was in there for 6 months. I was supposed to be in there for 4 weeks. I ended up being in there for 6 months. So the whole 6 months I was in there, I had to play that I'm okay, Mark, until I was okay.
Right.
It took about a month for me to be okay.
Right.
I remember after them taking my food for about 3 or 4 times, the other time it didn't happen. I had to fight. So
Oh,
I remember one of the kids going, tomorrow, same thing. And I was like, nah, tomorrow
I'm good. I'm eating my food.
It was like, yeah, you know, we taking it. Like, no matter what, we're taking your food. So sure enough, the next morning, they gave the food. As soon as they shut the door, they jump off their bunk bed to come get the food. And I'm in the corner with my food, like I got my juice and everything in my hand. And they're like, yo, bro, you gotta get that up. 2 of them walked up to me and we just started fighting. Nobody ate.
Nobody ate. Food on the floor.
COs come in and they would move me from that cell. And I remember, like, Claire, when I left that cell, and some of the other kids who used to do that to other people, I remember them seeing how little I was and saying to the other 3 kids that was in there, like, that's some punk shit. Like, for what y'all doing there? Like, we know we do that.
Right.
For y'all doing that to him, all of y'all, like, that's some. And I remember getting sent to another cell. And it's crazy. This story is about to tie really, really well. I get sent to another cell, right? And the guy that was there was like, listen, we
heard.
Yeah, we heard what happened. We do the same thing, but you good.
Right.
The dude who said that, it's gonna blow your mind. The dude who did that, and I was to this day,
Who?
it's Fuego Base.
Okay.
Fuego Base. It's crazy because now that he's doing his thing, when I ran into him, it clicked, and I remember it.
Right.
And he was also the same person that when we went outside that next day, the dude that was doing that to me, he literally like fought the kid. You know what? They never bothered me again. The flip side of the story, it turned me into them.
It turned you into the animal that they were.
Definitely.
And that's what happens when you are a product of your habitat.
Crazy thing about it is, while I was in there, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the hurt that I was causing other people. So I started taking other people's food.
Right.
Now I got time in there. So
Right.
I'm in there for 2, 3, 4 months. So now it's that's deep. Deep raps, deep this, deep fights. He gets restrained. He gets room time. He fights the COs. Now they know who I am. Now I became this person. So now it's like, you come in a cell with me, you got to fight. You got to fight your food. That's just the rules. So you become a part of the environment. You get turned into that same person. And now you're living just like those people until you're older like me. And I say to myself, I was taking people's food. You know what I'm saying?
Hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people hurt people.
Absolutely. So after you went through all these trials and tribulations, you did some time. You did your prison time, your jail time. You come home back to the environment that you left. What happens? What changes do you make?
The first thing is I'm home. And now I'm practicing Islam.
Okay.
When I came home, my mentality already was I didn't want to rap no more. I didn't want to be around certain people. I didn't want to sell drugs. I'm on my deen right now. I'm focused. I'm about to get a job. And
so you lose interest in your passion to rap, DMTS.
I don't lose interest. Okay. I still was writing.
Right.
But I was in no music out. I still had the passion to write. I would write, put it under my bed. I would write, put it in my drawer. So my writing skills was always there because I still had a passion for it.
Right.
But I knew that the environment I was surrounded by, the writing would reflect that. Violence, drugs, guns. I didn't want to talk about that anymore. So I knew I had to put it away and I had to tap into another form of energy. So I knew that it would take stepping away from my friends, stepping away from the notebook, and focusing on working, taking care of my kids, and just living life at that time.
So you're a father at this point when you come home.
So
I skipped over that. When did you become a father?
So you're saying, I basically fast forward between 11 years old, 13, 14, because all those times I was in and out of juvenile. At 22, 23, I'm a father.
You become a father.
My son is 2. So the first time I see my oldest son, he's 2 years old. So I was incarcerated when he was born.
Okay.
I was in prison when he was. I had a 2-year sentence.
Gotcha.
So by the time I came home, he was about to be 2.
Mhm.
And this is where I'm, all right, I'm good.
Right.
Let me focus and let me do my thing.
Because now you got a child.
Now I got a kid.
Okay.
It didn't pan out like that because my other son, one that you just seen, my middle son, I come home, he's 1. So I'm in there when he's 1. I didn't see him until he was 1 years old.
Right.
So it didn't click.
Right.
I finally broke the cycle when I said enough is enough. And that's when I went on my journey to working, going to electrical school. And that's where I started to say, I really have to change my life.
You got to change your life, earn an honest living, and be an example for your kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when everything was.
What year was this?
I would say this was 2008.
2008?
2008.
Okay. So now we have DMTS Network.
Yeah.
You're an artist.
Yes.
But DMTS also represents...
DMTS represents me as a brand.
As a brand. You're like a brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, DMTS, Devon, Maurice, Tanksley, C.
Okay, so it all makes sense. That's DMTS is who you are.
That's who I am.
Okay.
Directing musicians to success. I also like to give musicians that DMTS network platform.
Right.
I also want to use the things that I've been through and I learned and give them that guidance. And that's where DMTS sprang from. And I also use it for the dedication, motivation, transformation, and sacrifice. I feel that I've been through that whole world. So DMTS is really like
you.
How I live, yeah.
A big force. Okay. I see it.
Yeah.
And you're giving back to the community and the youth that was in your predicament, or regardless if they were in your predicament or not, you're just giving that guidance. You're giving that that life pack.
Right.
It's absolutely.
They're living right now, these children out here in our whole country. I'm talking about just in our whole world.
Mm-hmm.
They're living how I lived times 10.
Right.
It's
definitely changed.
Yeah. To come out of it and say, I know why
he's doing what he's doing.
He's doing that.
Right.
Like, I've sat down with kids in a group and seen in some of their eyes that they want to talk, but they're not going to tell you they want to talk because they're around their friends. They're in a group. Right. But you get that tough kid by himself and he'll explain everything that's hurting. Right. Everything that's hurting. Because to them, the world don't tell us that it's okay to be a Black man and say, how you feel. I'm hurt. Right. I want to cry. I feel pain. The world tells us that's not okay. Because of what we've been through, you're supposed to be strong, tough. Right. You're supposed to be a man. You're not supposed to, you hold that in and you end up where I ended up. You can't grow when you hold it in. Absolutely. And that's where a lot of our kids are spacing now. And you know that. You know what it's like to not be cared for. Not absolutely. 100%. So what year did you start the DMTS? DMTS radio, okay, the whole platform. The whole platform. DMTS, I think that it was 2017. 2017. Mm-hmm. I gotta ask my manager. Okay. 2017. 2017. We started it in our basement. In the basement. I wanted to give artists, entrepreneurs, and just creators a platform to just tell their story. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I just set up this whole thing in the basement and just started letting people know, like, hey, you want to get your story out? We'll interview you. Right. I wasn't charging $1, just to build a platform and give them, a platform to speak their mind. And it blew up. Some of the dopest artists that's doing their thing right now we had on the show. I saw that. So you brought TJ. Lil TJ from the Bronx. Yeah. Here to Connecticut. Absolutely. You also brought Styles P to Connecticut. Yeah. And I think I'm missing someone. We have my son. Shout out to my son, doing a lot of great work in his community. Absolutely. You had Annoyed from CT. Connecticut. He showed love. Our very own. Yep. That was beautiful. Yeah. So you brought a lot of other heavy hitters that's up on the rise right now that's doing some work, like Sholly, We had Shody there, we had Ty Henny there. You know, we had a lot of great artists that are doing their thing right now, on the show and to perform. So yeah, that's how we started the platform.
It was a success.
Yes,
from the start.
and it's still growing. It's on up and up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. I'm loving the way your story went from negative to positive.
Absolutely. Boy, that's life, right? Life, you're either gonna grow
Mm-hmm.
or you're gonna go the opposite way. And my life, as I begin to change things little by little,
Mm-hmm.
it was positive growth. And I knew that positive growth is gonna turn into bigger and bigger and bigger. Might not go as fast as I wanted, but it was gonna get there.
Right.
So, and we already know the other way where that ends up. If I was gonna stay in the streets, if I was gonna stay in the drug game, if I was gonna stay violence and this and that and that,
Right.
we know that was gonna end either dead
or jail time.
Yeah, there's no successful,
And you wouldn't be here for the community to help mentor the youth and to make an example.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, the community part is just part of my journey.
Well, this is your community. This is where you're from.
Yeah.
So people have seen the transition from Lil D to DMTS.
Yeah.
Founder, business owner, author, which we're going to get into. They're watching your success. So you're a great impact on your community. Yeah. That's what we see here at BCLEARTV.
Thank you.
So let's get into the other success accomplishments and things that you've done other than DMTS.
Yeah.
You're also a founder of the New Britain Legacies here.
Yeah. Yes.
Can you tell us about New Britain Legacies and how did that start?
New Britain Legacy started after I was mentoring and coaching for other programs. And I seen that I wanted to tap into children a little bit more as opposed to just, signing them up and playing basketball, shooting a hoop and see you next year. I kind of wanted to really see, how can I use my life experience and really mentor these kids, tapping, almost like we were talking about in the beginning about no one ever talks to them, see how they feel and what's going on.
Right.
And that's how I built that strong relationship and connection with a lot of kids. Like, I was thinking about it the other day. I was surprised about how many kids know me and respect me. It's hard to get kids to respect you.
They love you around here.
Because adults come at kids the wrong way a lot.
Yes.
So a lot of kids is I love these kids in my community.
The kids love you too.
Yeah.
So it's amazing because you're paying. I feel like you put that out with these kids in the community, and it's healing at the same time to watch it. Is it healing for you?
No, it is. It is.
To be able to give something that you didn't have and watch that grow.
Yeah. It's fulfilling.
And they definitely give you the love back.
Yeah.
So you feel the love and the respect.
I can't ask for love. Kids don't disrespect me.
It's very rewarding, I gotta say.
Yeah, I love y'all.
So you started the Britain Legacies,
yes,
which is a basketball mentoring program where you have teams and the community will pay a small fee, sign their children up.
Yep.
And it's been successful for how many years now?
Yeah. 2016 to 2016.
Okay, so
we're going
6
years, 7 years. Yeah.
And it's gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're learning, we're growing, and we're building, and we're expanding. So, I think that as I continue to grow as a leader and as a person, I can implement those skills in my program. So that way, my kids that I mentor and my coaches that's on my team, and we all can just grow and just make, just put something positive here that they can benefit from. I want to see these kids take it further than me.
Right.
Take this thing and just take it further than me, and then come back after you do what you're doing, then come back and give it to the other kids that's in the program that's coming up.
Yeah.
And let that cycle continue.
Definitely. It's definitely a cycle. So now after you have the Britain Legacies going, you also started a scholarship program to give to
Yes, I wanted to
children.
Yeah, I wanted to give back because even, and I tell people a lot of people think they gotta wait, until you have a lot of money to give back. Mm-hmm. My journey right now of working and grinding, I'm not the richest man on the world.
Right.
I only have what I have to survive and live for my children, my family, my kids. But you can give back in many ways. You can give back with your time. They don't always have to be money. You know, you can give back with a conversation. You know, you can give back by just telling somebody, you know, how are you doing today? Sometimes that'll open up a whole conversation because people are not even asked that. So I said to myself, I want to give back in some way, shape, or form. And I met this wonderful dude. His name is Derek, and he started this scholarship fund for people like you and I who want to give back.
Right.
And we connected with CCSU, and every year we give to about four scholars, and they apply, and it's wonderful because I get to read their essays and I get to see where they come from, why they need the scholarship fund, how it could benefit them. And I didn't realize that $1,000 benefits those kids so much because they told me that they buy books. They said I couldn't afford books.
Right.
$1,000 scholarship allowed me to buy books. And so I said to myself, wow, that's amazing, because those books that was purchased with my money,
Right.
That's called residual benefits of success.
Right.
You know, cause and effect. That energy that allowed that person to read those books that was purchased by my scholarship is going to continue to give me blessings for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
So it's like, that's amazing. And that's just $1,000 from a person who only have what I have. I'm not rich, money springing out. I just said I want to give back.
Right. And every little bit
counts.
Every little bit counts.
Yeah.
Whether it's 1,000 to 20,000, it's going to help.
Yeah, whether it's even if it's $100.
$100, right.
So if anybody out there that's looking for ways to give back, don't wait until you had it all. Start giving back now. You give back with your time. You give back with conversations, money, charity, anything.
Yeah, that's good. That sounds really good. So it's $1,000. Go ahead.
It's called the DMTS Foundation.
The DMTS Foundation.
Yeah.
Scholarship, $1,000 to 3 students.
4.
To 4 students.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, per year.
That's awesome. So now we have the scholarship program, DMTS Foundation. Now you became an author.
My first book came out in 2013. It's called A Mother's Pain.
A Mother's Pain.
Mother's Pain.
Wow.
2013. And we in 2022.
My mind goes straight back to when you used to tell your mother that you were fine and you weren't.
Mm-hmm.
When I hear A Mother's Pain.
Yeah.
So what is this book about?
So what I did with this book is I didn't write, this book is not about my life, but it's about life experiences from my friends, from myself, things I've seen. And I wanted to basically capture all that and put it in a book, and also put some gems in there of wisdom and knowledge that I learned throughout the web. And then I wanted to make it a small read so that our community could read it. You know, there's this thing that we don't read, you know. And some people make jokes about it, but there was a time in slavery where we couldn't read. And if we got caught reading, we were killed, we were murdered, or beaten. So in our DNA, the education of learning and reading is not even normal to us. So we basically got away from that whole era of loving to read. So I wanted to change that. So I said, let me put some energy, some wisdom, some knowledge, some things in this book that'll get somebody interested to read who normally don't read. Right. And that's why I created that book. And that book is a very, very good read. I'm very proud of that book. It's my first book. Right. And it was just about some 2 young kids that wanted to become basketball players. And their mom was a single parent. Their one brother was more like, nah, we gotta, stay focused. Mom's telling us stay focused on school. The other brother was like, nah, mom's struggling. Like, I'm about to go outside and get this money, so I can help. Right. They were battling those 2 lives. And then when the mom found out, it was more like he brought her more pain than the good that he thought he was trying to bring her. Right. And with the bills, because she was like, no, this is not what I taught you. This life, what you're doing, and you think you're helping me, is only going to lead you there. Right. And he still couldn't understand it because he said to his mom, he said, listen, I can't see you crying every night, going to bed, stressful. And if this is how you feel, then I have to take this route. And he left. He left the house at 16 years old. Wow. And the other brother stayed. And when he got older to realize what his mom was trying to teach him, she wasn't alive to see it.
Oh.
Pain of all this. And that's where part 2 came about. I got another one that I got a spinoff called Pain, Guilt, and Success. It came out in 2015, 2 years later after that.
Wow.
Yeah, Pain, Guilt, and Success. So they got older and they realized that their mom was really, really, really trying to give them path of life, trying to help them be successful in a positive way. And that's where I called it Pain, Guilt, and Success, because he's seen the success now, but he had the guilt from not understanding what his mom was trying to give him, left his mom, and the pain that they had to deal with.
I'm picturing a movie, a production in the near future.
The manuscript is there.
So, I mean, I know the book was based off a part of your life as well. How many siblings did you have growing up?
I had, this is my sister, and then I got 3 other brothers.
So you got 3 brothers. You're the 4th brother.
Yeah.
And your sister.
Yeah.
And how do you feel out of all the bunch, like where you were placed at? Like, how do you feel amongst your siblings? Were you the baby? Were you the child? You were the middle child.
I was the middle child. Yeah.
So did you get to enjoy your childhood or no, because you had a younger sibling?
Well, yeah, I recently just learned that. Some conversations that we had.
Yeah.
And also too, I had conversations with some other people that was middle child, and they was like, yeah, like they knew.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Right.
You know, they like, oh yeah, as a middle child, like
you don't get to be
a kid.
Middle child.
The middle child, becomes that he's stuck in the middle, And it also it does make them tougher though. It does make them tougher. It makes them a little bit more
mature.
I think mature, and also I don't care. Not that I don't care, but I don't care what happens to me. I've been through, I had a toy. My little brother cried, he gets the toy. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
He's the older brother, so he get to go to that event or that party. I can't go because I got to watch the little brother. Something happens, we fight, I get the whooping. So I, the middle, yeah.
You kind of get the brunt of things.
But I wouldn't change it for nothing though.
Right.
I wouldn't change it for nothing because being a middle child kind of made me go ahead. I remember taking my big brother. When you're a middle child, you steal your big brother clothes to go to school. You feel me? And I remember coming home getting in fights with him, getting beat up by my big brother. You feel me? Taking his pants and his shirts and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was fun. It was good. My sister, growing up, she was always the mom when she used to come around because she lived with my grandmother, so we lived with my mom.
Right.
She did come around. She was the oldest sister that really So yeah, we had a good, a tough, fun, good childhood. We don't change it for nothing.
Absolutely. So now you're an author. And you're still DTMS throughout all these years, yeah. Devon. You're still putting out music. You're still writing. You're a great writer.
Thank you.
What are you trying to do now with your DMTS?
DMTS? I want to, not that I want to, I am creating a platform for myself, entrepreneurs, creators, artists, photographers, videographers, radio hosts, personnel, anyone who has the ability to see the world better than what it is now. I want DMTS to be that platform for it.
Okay.
If there's a title that never was said or ever was created, and there's a little girl or a little boy out there thinking that they want to do that thing, and it's in that form of creation, I want DMTS to be that platform. I want DMTS Network to have the resources, to have the funds, to have the mentors, the people, and I want us to be a staple and also be like a relief company. I want to be able to send like trucks of water to like countries when they don't have water or something like that.
Okay.
I want to be able to sell merchandise, and every time we sell merchandise, we put sweaters and coats on people from other countries who don't have that. That's what I want it to actually be. I want to live. I want that platform to live for others.
For other people.
Yeah. But I know it takes my skills and my talent and the things that I'm working on to kick that door open.
Right.
And then I can take the back seat and I can say, go. But that's what DMTS is now.
That's pretty big. That's
Yeah.
pretty big. So you plan on making those things happen in the near future.
Yeah.
So while you're DMTS here in the community as well, you ran for mayor
Yes.
in the town of New Britain, Connecticut.
Yes.
This happened
And 18.
18. So you run for mayor in your community. Everyone knows who you are. They've seen you go from negative to positive. How does this pan out for you? You don't get elected.
I don't get elected.
But you made a huge impact. This was like a big deal for the community to see you run for mayor.
Yeah. I would say I feel good. I feel wonderful about it all.
Right.
You know, even though I always say I have a lot of mentors and people I talk to, and you know, I got a small circle, but I get real good feedback from a lot of people. And my timing sometimes is way ahead.
Right.
Like when I started, let me just go back real quick.
You definitely are ahead of your time.
I started DMTS Network.
Yeah.
In 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to pay artists to perform as opposed to them paying to open up for like a Styles P or that.
Right.
They didn't understand that then.
Exactly.
The movement that's happening now, hashtag if not us who.
Right.
We understand it now. That's 5 years ago.
Right. And at that time, when you started the radio station here, it wasn't too long after you were running for mayor.
Yeah, it was all that, even this, all that was happening at the same time. Yeah.
So you run for mayor. How do you feel your community supported you when you made that decision?
Yeah. So it's two sides of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the political side of people use that as it's private. Political side can be private. Voting could be private. So you have that side, and then you have the side of being uneducated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, both don't matter. No, that don't count. That's not. So I was fighting those two sides when I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a young Black African American from the projects who've grown into this figure of entrepreneurship, business, leadership, mentorship, author, all these things. And people are looking at me to say, is politics his thing, his place?
Right.
I don't know anything about politics. Even though they were right, you don't have to know about politics to be in politics.
Right.
You just have to know about people. I knew that I love people.
Right.
I knew that I had visions and ideas and things that I may not have all the answers, but I knew if I was to bring these to the table with people that wanted to get things done, we can move faster in a positive manner. And that was my vision and my way of saying, I'm running for mayor. I'm going to run for mayor. And they were like, well, you don't want to run for city council or start on the board or stuff. No, I'm running for the highest seat that we have because I need change immediately. So when you look at the both sides of the support, I didn't get the support that I thought I would get, but I think I got it. I didn't get the support that I physically thought I would get, but I think I got the support that I was deserved during that time, if that makes sense.
Right. No, I understand.
Just to break it down for people who probably don't understand what I mean by that is that during my journey of running for mayor, my campaign wasn't vote for me, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. I could do this, I could do. My campaign was let's participate as a community in this game of voting. I don't care who you vote for, but analyze and research the people that's running and vote for that person that you believe can take this community to the next level.
Right.
That's what I wanted to educate people on. I was educating people on how many people are registered. There was people in our communities who didn't even know what was our population in New Britain.
Right.
We have over 80,000 people in New Britain. I was putting that information out. There's people who didn't know that.
Right.
So I feel that the things that my purpose to accomplish, I accomplished that. I educated, I put information out, I put energy out, and I fought.
Right.
And even though I lost, the next day I still woke up and went right back to work. A lot of people in those situations, you don't see them no more.
No, they get depressed. They go downhill.
They're embarrassed. They don't want people in the community to see them.
Right.
Out the next day, and they was like, "Yo, bro, I'm sorry. Sorry for what?
Right.
Sorry for what?
They don't.
On to the next. We're gonna keep going."
You're not the average politician.
Yeah.
So neither was Trump. So it's like the world is changing to where now people are being more empowered.
Yeah.
They realize the power of their voice. And you were trying to share that, like share the importance of getting involved in your community. Let's start really paying attention to who we're putting in this chair.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the way.
When you're breaking down, listen, we have 80,000 people in our community. For the past 8 years, they've won with 5,000 votes.
Right.
How?
Just 5,000?
Yeah, like how? So you mean to tell me, mentally, if we collectively came together and said, cut that in half, say there's 40,000 of us.
Right.
40,000 going to participate in this year election. Not because that person's my friend, or not because I know her, or not because I know him, because that person resonates with the vision that I have. And I'm going to vote for that person. It changes the way we move as a community.
Right.
Now, instead of 5,000 people participating, you got 40,000 people participating. You show up to an election with 40,000 people, it changes the atmosphere in the community.
Right.
Community involvement, positive parent involvement. Kids have more programs, more youth programs, more jobs, more creation, more ideas. And yeah, there's going to be mess ups and fuck ups and falls and get something, but that's part of the growth.
Yeah, that's part of it.
So yeah,
absolutely.
I feel that in that manner, I won. I won what I was set out to do.
Right.
After the election, I realized that that seat is not even for me, and that's why I say I won.
Why do you feel that the seat is not for you?
I'm a free thinker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an entrepreneur, and I can't be tamed to a spot where I have to get my council to vote if I can donate money to this program, or if we can fund this, or that's not my vision of change.
Right.
They, in that area of politics, change to them is passing laws over a period of time. Mm-hmm. Change for me is waking up tomorrow and helping that kid that don't have no food in his stomach, or getting that person that's on the street that's homeless, putting him in a shelter today. Right. Not calling 211 saying you're on the waiting list when he's outside in the wintertime freezing to death. So I can't be in the mayor's seat when I know that the mayor can't even make that decision like this. Right. So me being an entrepreneur and a free thinker and a business owner, I could make change. Me and my wife made over thousands of plates. Right. In the community. That's change. Right. And that's what I feel I'm set out to be. I'm not. So do you feel like our mayor doesn't tap into any of those type of issues at all? I feel that our mayor have a vision, and she's accomplishing her vision. Uh-huh. The vision that I have for my people and my community, I feel that that's not part of her life. So look at it like this. She doesn't come from poverty. Yes. So she's not thinking of the poverty level in the community. She's wrong for what she's doing. Right. She has a vision of creating certain things, and she's creating those certain things. It's just that me and the people where I come from, those certain things is not helping us. Right. We're in poverty. Right. Parents are in poverty. They have lack of resources for jobs, lack of resources for funding. Some of them is illiterate. Right. Some of them can't read. Some of them can't fill out applications. Some of them are the drugs. Our dads are in jail. So her vision of beautifying certain things and building this and connecting with this, that's a great vision for what she's lived in her life and her people and her friends. So there's nothing wrong she's doing. I just felt that if I got in that seat, I had her vision of beautifying the community, but I also have my vision of helping the people who needs to be helped. With those two together makes me who I wanted to set out to be, which I'm still going to set out to be, just not in that seat, if that makes sense. No, I understand. That's really big. You're covering a big proportion that's not being covered by our community mayors. That's big. Absolutely. So do you have a relationship with the current mayor of your community now? we do have a good relationship. I wouldn't say it's as strong as I would like it to be, but there's no there's no conflict.
There's
You
no
know,
conflict.
I realized after I ran for mayor and I realized everyone's vision, all I said to myself was, "Oh, me and my wife had these conversations. Like she's doing
What?
what she set out to do for her vision in the world she comes from.
Correct.
I cannot blame a person for that.
Right.
She's in that seat. So what I have to do now is I don't want the seat. So what I have to do is I have to build enough resources and wealth and funding and people and get so I can make the changes that I want. That's all.
Right. Which I think is really brilliant because after a while, people will see that this is the type of person that we want in the chair of our community, not taking away from what our current mayor is doing. But I think it would be great for you guys to keep continuing building that relationship
Yeah.
so that it can be bridged.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure she sees what you're doing and thinks that that's a great thing as well. I would hope.
Well, I would hope too.
Okay.
I say, you know, there's a lot of people in my community doing great things. But I'm gonna tell you like this: I'm moving at 1,000 miles per hour. So if you don't see what I'm doing, then you watching the wrong channel.
Okay. Tune in, people. Tune in to DMTS Network.
You know.
So let's talk about another one of your businesses you have here. My Wife Didn't Cook.
Yes.
That was established during the time of you running for mayor.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did this start? How did you get started with this?
It was an opportunity. You know, we had the other venue. The landlord was like, "Hey, I heard you was talking about a food spot. I have a spot right here if you want to take it."
Wow.
Literally, like, I just told my wife, I said, "Listen, we don't have a restaurant in Britain that offers this type of food, like soul food, you know, like let's do it."
Right.
You know, and I'm gonna tell you, we had no prior, restaurant experience on nothing. You know, I just was like, let's do it. And literally she was on board, like, like she always is. And it was like, we're gonna do it. It was just
How did you come up with the name My Wife Didn't Cook?
literally, it was like, it took us literally like less than like, I swear, 2 minutes. Like my wife and I were sitting in the car and she's like, well, what are we gonna call it? I'm like, well, first of all, it has to be creative. It has to be something creative. It can't be like
Right.
Devon's Chicken Spot or Jack and Dip. Like, do that. Like I'm like
The average spot, right?
creative people. We have to think out the box.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, so how about like dinner time? And she was like, nah, it's like, and I'm like, all right. So we sitting in the car and I'm like, my wife didn't cook. She's like, I loved it. She just loved it. She was like, I love it. And I'm like, for real? She's
Now,
like, yeah.
now, does your wife really not cook?
No, she cooked.
Oh, okay. So that was brilliant. Like
Yeah.
that name itself is definitely catchy.
Yeah,
My Wife Didn't Cook. For those who don't have a wife at home that don't cook,
I know.
come on down.
Her girlfriend, or mama, papa, whoever don't cook.
Come down to My Wife Didn't Cook.
Yeah. The branding behind that, the marketing behind the name, it exploded and it just went viral through social media. It attracted all the news channels, 61, Channel 8. Even Good Morning America came down from New York.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, I'm proud of this creative brand because it opened doors for me that other platforms haven't opened yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like this brand right here,
My Wife Didn't Cook.
My Wife Didn't Cook gave us the opportunity, like I said before, to feed people in need,
Right.
but also learn how to run a successful business.
Right.
And also interact with people, community service, and also preparing people food. And you got to realize we've been here almost 5 years. People don't get sick from My Wife Didn't Cook.
Mm.
So the sanitation, the understanding of rotation of food and making sure that everything is out when it's supposed to be out, cooked right, prepared right. Like you're preparing food that people are eating. Like there's food pill poisoning out there. There's all type of allergies. So you have to be proud of more than just the things people see in the front. There's behind the scene work that people don't see that my wife and I are very, very proud of.
Absolutely. Very big. during the pandemic, you did a couple of donations to the Salvation Army and the community to help out when we had like a shortage of food or
when everybody was struggling, going through their hard times. My wife and I was like, let's give back, and that's when we decided to prepare those plates, and the outcome was amazing. Like, we was able to feed those people, and that's the platform I was telling you about earlier about us having a platform to help in those times of need.
Right.
And the pandemic was one of those times of need.
Right.
And it also was returned to us. We started receiving checks from people from Connecticut, people who never even knew us, and they seen our story of what we was giving back, and they started.
Yeah.
So
it's contagious. They wanted to give back, and they were inspired by what you were doing.
It takes, like you said, all it takes is a leader.
I'm really proud of you. So, do you guys every year make meals for the unfortunate? Or you like donate to churches?
No, so it's not like a tradition.
Right.
It's mainly like people reach out to us. Hey, we have this group of people, or the friendship center. It's just our way of giving back, And
sounds really good to me.
People appreciate it. So, as long as they appreciate it, and we're able to continue to grow, we're able to continue to give back. One thing I will say is that the idea of building a community is very, very important to me. And one thing I want people to know and understand is that when communities come together and build together, the elevation of it is amazing. So this is a key element that I found in how you build a community, right? And I call it the triangle effect.
Okay.
When you come into a community, right, and there's establishments like My Wife Didn't Cook, like New Britain Legacies, and like other businesses, when the residents that live in that community who have children, family members, and they live in that community, when they support those establishments and those businesses, what happens is those businesses begin to grow. And when those businesses grow, they have an obligation to give back to the community and the residents that supported them.
Right.
So when those businesses grow, they have the opportunity to donate to dance programs, sports programs, computer programs, schools, after-school programs, technology, other businesses. Then that expands our footprint in the community. Now we can create more jobs, we can get more opportunities, and then that dance continues to happen. So my idea of building My Wife Didn't Cook was never for us to just serve food and become multimillionaires and kick on the beach and have our yacht. That was never our vision.
Just to benefit for you, right?
It never was the vision. The vision was, if I can build My Wife Didn't Cook and create 12 or 15 jobs, and the community supports us, then we can donate and create more reading programs, because our kids need more reading programs.
Absolutely.
More educational programs,
right.
Tech programs. We can create more jobs, and then we can give more opportunities to more entrepreneurs and creators that's in our community. And if that dance continues to happen, then imagine the things that we can do as a community, because now the residents feel involved. I'm going to spend my dollar there because my kids live in this community and they go to that program that was created because I spent my dollar there.
Right.
As opposed to taking your hard-earned money and going to the next town over. Now, there's no problem with that, but the next town over is not worried about what's going on in your community. So my proposal in this interview is for everyone in their community. It's not just the state of Connecticut.
Right.
New York, Chicago, Jersey, wherever you at, in your community, start there. I want people to invest in the businesses, small businesses that's in their community. Just invest in them. You still can go out and have your food and buy clothes everywhere else.
Right.
Majority of your dollar, whether you like it or not, invest. Let's see if the business owner in that establishment has that obligation to say, I want to invest back into you.
Right.
And then if they do that, then that dance will grow the community.
Right.
And I feel that if there's any establishment, I don't care if you're a small business, corporate, banks, anybody, if you're in a poverty neighborhood community and you're not involved in that dance, then I feel that the residents should not support that establishment, because you don't care about our children and you don't care about the future of our community. And that's just me.
And that's very important. A lot of us don't realize the money we spend with these businesses are the ones that are funding these campaigns for the mayors and the president and so forth.
Not doing nothing for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're definitely on the right path.
And in time, people's going to catch up. But like I said, I had this theory, 8-9 years ago that I learned through my experiences in other countries and that do what I'm saying.
Right.
It's just that it's new to people right now. They're like, what?
You're a little bit ahead of your time with all this wisdom.
They'll catch up. And I'm going to tell you what you're going to see.
Right.
You're going to see someone support a restaurant or a barbershop or whatever. And once that barbershop is flooded with money, that barbershop is going to say, you know what? I'm going to donate 20 grand. Because I want to open up 2 reading programs and a gaming program and a youth program and an adult program. And then the community itself is going to change. And then the buying power of the people in that community is going to change. And then that's when you're going to see amazing things go on, like in China.
Right. China is like one of the biggest distributions that
technology
America uses.
They're going crazy right now.
Right.
But they understand how you develop a community.
Absolutely.
We'll get there.
We will get there. As long as we have you to continue to pave the way.
I love.
We need to multiply a couple of you. It'll all come together. Absolutely. You're just a powerhouse here.
Mm-hmm.
So a wind of a lot of great things, and you think in abundance in everything you do. Let's be clear. There's a purpose behind everything you do. It's not just about you. And I think that it speaks for itself without you saying so. So that's excellent. Let's tap into DMTS music. You as an artist, you don't speak what we normally hear. You don't rap of what we normally hear, right now in the music industry. Your music is a little bit positive. It has a big positive message in it. But yet, it's still, it's the realest message you could possibly hear right now. Let's talk about the system. When did you start the system part 1?
Crime rate is rising, Chicago is through the roof. Detroit, Michigan, LA, and Newark too. CT getting worse by the day without a clue. Heartbeat number
19.
And here we are in 2022. You've got the system too.
Took the way we speak to each other, called it ebonics. Don't like us, but love our culture, ironic. Trying to make sense of the world, how I see it. Suicide rates is high, I can't believe it. Well, let me rephrase that line, I can't believe it.
Experience, consciousness, my view on the world, on myself, family, people. My music is just a reflection of who I am and who I see myself becoming.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why I'm able to now just let it go. Like when I sit down and create the system part 2 in this music, it's easy for me because I don't have to tap into something and try to create or how I need to do this or what should I say on it. It's more about, all right, this is how I feel. I want to talk about this. And I lived it. So this is what I'm going to talk about. And it just comes out. So it's just a reflection of who I am. It's or what I'm set out to be.
And you have no problem with being honest in your lyrics about the truth. You don't mind revealing the truth on how you feel, regardless what the community thinks?
No, because the truth always is going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So if I put my truth in my music, pain don't last forever.
Mm-hmm.
The truth will probably hurt now, but then later on, they're going to resonate with it. It's going to be the best thing that they ever heard or the best thing that they ever ran into in their life. Like the messages that I get from people to this day, it's not, yo, you're a hard rapper. You got to think about it. I drop a song like the system part 2, Industry Baby.
Level 13.
Drop that.
Shots fired, everybody starts to scatter. Innocent people in the mix, it don't matter. Cause that kid that squeezed that gun had no data. On top of all the confusion, had no data. Think he's smart, but he just lost, soul searching. Look, never smile, mean grilling people, his soul hurting. All his mentors sold drugs, had no purpose. Not either dead or...
You changing the mentality of us.
Right.
Or, yo, you're inspiring us to change our lives. Yo, it's nothing about the bars. And that's why I know that my music is music.
Right. Real music.
It's not like, yo, you dropped the bar, here's the button. No, it's like, yo, you paving the way for us, bro. Yo, I don't even know you can keep on going. I had a message I let my wife hear a few days ago because of my pardon. A dude was sending me a voice message, like it felt bad, but he's like, yo, I don't even know you from a can of paint, but I had some dark thoughts a couple of days ago. Like literally, like I was feeling real down, and I was thinking about, he said, and I seen your pardon and how many failures you had to get it and succeed, and you got it. And bro, just because of that video, I'm about to keep going. Like I'm not about to. That just gave me chills. I had to let my wife hear it.
That's dope.
Like so I do it for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It can be done.
Yeah.
Greatness, sky's the limit. It can be done. It's still going.
Keep at it.
Right.
It's not happening like this. We're in the world. We was taught instant gratification. Like, hurry up. We need it now. We need it now. Our culture. When you look at our culture and you look at other cultures, like say the Jewish culture, we're instant gratification. That's why our parents don't have the life insurance they should have to pass down to us, the generational wealth. Because they're living for today.
Right.
They're like, no, I'm not. The future is not. When you got them, they're living for 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, passed down to generation after generation after generation. So we had this theme with our culture where it needs to be broken.
Right.
Stop focusing on the instant gratification. We have to say, no, if I build this today, maybe my grandkids can benefit from it.
Maybe. Definitely.
Yeah. But then sometimes we don't really like to think about that. Like, grandkids, like, nah, I'm trying to get it.
Right.
Like, hey, nah, we got to get out of that mind state because it's not all about us.
And coming from poverty, we suffer financially where we blow our money because we suffer from the broke days.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we get it, it's like, let me show it.
Right.
Got it now. When it's like, that's why it's easy for someone to say, well, such and such, say that Caucasian white dude, say he's, look at him, look how he's dressed. Right. He got millions of dollars in the bank. Look at how he's dressed.
Right.
Or how was he brought up? He don't need to show it. Mentally, he was taught that he don't have to show it. You have it. When mentally we ain't have nothing, and then now when we get it, these artists, these rappers, these actors, these actresses, they chains, jewelry, cars, because we have to show the world. We need validation.
Right.
But really, we don't need validation. It's just that's how we think. Or that's how we were, it was embedded in us that we need validation. So I'm going to go get the Jordans. I'm going to make sure I put the Jordans on, put this big chain on, get this car.
Right.
But
financial distress.
Yeah, but I don't have the house yet. I don't have the credit yet. I don't have this. I don't have that. My kids don't have no savings account. They don't have no college funds. They don't have that. But if you look at me, I have all this thing. So they call it nigger rich.
Right.
We passed that. I said what I said in my last song, Industry Baby. We passed 40 acres in the mule. Ross buying acres. Brown building schools.
Right.
Like, that's what we're on now.
Right.
I don't want to sit here and whine no more about why we ain't get our 40 acres in the mule, why we're in jail, why we this, why we that. All right. We're done whining and crying. And now, how can we tie our laces,
right,
stand up, and make a change and make a difference for the next generation?
And it starts with people like you to set the example. It starts with the decisions we make.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
There's no room for excuses.
No more.
You make the decision. You're held accountable for the outcome.
Yeah. We live in a time where people don't care no more. No, they don't care you have 4 years of slavery. They don't care no more.
Right.
I get it. So since no one cares no more, then we got to stop caring. We don't have to forget. We just have to stop sitting down on the floor talking about, they know that when we tried to read, we would get hung.
Right.
They know that we had no rights. They know that we were thrown off boats. They know we were lynched. They know our woman was raped in front of us.
Right.
They know that. We know that.
Right.
They're still not helping us. So
right.
What are we going to do? For another 100 years, we're going to still tell them we need help because this all happened to us? No, we're past that. We're past that. So now we got billionaires. We got Jay-Z. We got Kanye West. We got Rihanna.
Right.
We got entertainers who became billionaires. We got Tyler Perry.
Right.
We got Tyler Perry. You know, we got people who's really showing us like, yo, look, we can do it ourselves now.
We could do it. So let's start. We are.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
This is.
Yeah.
This is.
This will be
Not we were.
looking for the future now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful. Are you putting together an album currently?
The first one I got was an EP.
Was the EP
This one is going to be an album.
an album?
Yeah.
Okay. And this album is going to tie into everything we just talked about.
Yes, everything. I think it's going to be a double disc.
You pouring out your whole life on this
Yeah.
double disc.
Aries.
Okay.
That's the name of it.
And you're Aries.
I'm an Aries.
Okay.
That's the name of the album. Aries. Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, it's going to be special. I'm still releasing music from time, but that's going to be the project. That's going to be
How old are you?
35.
Wow, you're not too old. No, you're not old at all. But you're 35. And you know, once it was said by Jay-Z himself, you don't get focused until you're 35. You've been focused before you was 35.
Right. You're right.
You got a lot of wisdom behind you.
Right. You're right. I'm glad you reminded me of it.
I know your mom or your grandma's like, that's my child of God.
Yeah. Thanks for mentioning them because I love them to death. My mother, my grandmother,
They're
they
big.
keep me going. You know, they keep me going. They love me to death. You know, I love them.
They're a big part of you,
Yeah,
of your purpose.
yeah. I give them anything and everything. Love them to death.
Two Black strong women.
Yes. Yeah. It is beautiful. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Well, that's good. I'm proud, to be able to sit here and have this interview with you. You got a lot. You got a lot with you, DMTS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for part 2, I guess.
Okay.
Part 2.
So we're going to stay tuned. We're going to keep in touch with you and stay tuned for part 2
Yes.
to see where you are maybe 2 years from now,
Or 2 months from now.
2 months from now. You never know.
Yes.
True. Like, I know you have something you're not telling us today, but we're going to just let you have it. That's
I gotta let the world and the universe manifest for me.
okay.
Sometimes, they talk about when you have these great ideas, you have dream killers. And sometimes they don't even be intentional.
Right.
They just negative people.
Right.
Listen, I have an idea. Oh, that ain't gonna work.
Right.
So I try to keep
They put their insecurities on you.
Yeah, sometimes it's not even their fault. It
Right.
could be their insecurities, their fears, and they tried something that didn't work. There's something I tried that didn't work. And say if my son come to me and be like, hey, Dad, I want to start. And if just because I failed, I go, nah, D, don't do that. It ain't going to work. I tried it. I'll be an idiot. I can tell him, yeah, do it. This is what I did. This is the mistakes I made, the things that was good, the things wasn't. Now you go ahead and try it.
Right.
So I just learned to guard my ideas
Right.
for a few days or a few weeks or a few months. And then when I put it out in the world, it's not the first time you hear it. Because I know that when I put it out, I'm going to get the kickback. I'm going to get the negative and the positive, but I already guarded it and manifested it where now it don't matter.
Right.
Say if I have an idea like right now and I'm like, oh, this is a good idea. And I'm like, listen, I want to do this. And the minute people go, nah, I might go, yeah, it is right. It just might.
Right. But that's not you anyway.
That's not me.
Right.
I'm gonna sit with it. I'm gonna sit with it for days and weeks. And then I'm gonna be like, oh, I got this idea. And then they're gonna be like, I don't know if it'll work. All right, it's probably not gonna work with you now, but I already know it's gonna work because I already manifested it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And sometimes it may not be instant, like I said, instant gratification. Just because I had this idea, it might not manifest today. It might manifest in 10 days or a year. So at the end of the day, I already know when I sit with an idea that it's fulfilled. When I want to challenge my idea, I bring it to a dream killer.
Right.
In the book, like a year ago, when you want to challenge your idea, create it and bring it to a dream killer. Bring it to someone who you know is just negative and they want to shoot down every idea because they're going to tell you how strong that idea is.
Absolutely.
That's one of the keys right there. If you want to test how strong your idea is, manifest it for a few days, and then bring it to a dream killer and see if they can kill your dream.
That's tough. That's big. Because you need your haters.
Yeah.
You need your haters.
They teach you, and they also balance you.
Right.
Because sometimes a hater can say something because, and it'll make you go back and refine it and make it better.
Right.
If you're strong enough. Because sometimes they can say something and it'll make you just give up. Throw it away. Throw it in the trash.
Right.
Why did you do that? Oh, he said it wasn't good. Who said that? Him. Who's that?
Who's you?
Yeah. So I would say just do it. You know, do it. Try it. Me and my wife tried so many things. People see us now and they see us with like 5 successful things, but we probably tried 5,000 things. You know, there was a time me and my wife would just take a table, drive up to New York, set the table out, put my books out there, and start selling books. People looking at us like, what y'all doing? Gonna buy a book? Go out there for 4 hours, sell 4 books, and come right back here like nothing happened and keep moving and doing something else. Like, you have to have that type of mentality.
Correct.
Because it built us. It made us say, anything we want to try.
Right.
Because trying is where we come out on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, I would say do it. Just do it.
What message do you have for the youth right now that's transitioning into young adults, the high schoolers that are going to 18, that are now having to make life decisions right now for the beginning of their adult stages?
The best advice I could give them now is, and it's because I've learned now in the past couple years, the best advice that I would say is to sit with yourself. Sit with yourself, learn yourself, find yourself, and just don't be around your friends. You don't have to be around your friends all the time. You don't have to be, if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you don't have to be around them all the time. You don't have to be around your mom all the time, your parents, work. You need at least an hour or a half an hour a day where you're not reading, you're not listening to music, you're just listening to yourself.
Right.
I think you want to call it meditating. Just sit there and think about the things of yourself. Just think about things of you.
Right.
What you want to do, just think. And that thinking is going to strengthen it's called your idea muscle.
Yeah.
It's going to strengthen it.
Absolutely. I call it being one with yourself.
Yeah.
When you hear yourself and you don't hear any other noise.
Just yourself.
Just yourself.
They need that.
Absolutely.
They don't have that. They don't hear themselves.
Right.
And then when you ask kids now, some of them say, I never thought of that. How you never thought of it is because life is moving so fast and you didn't even have time to sit down with yourself. So that's the best advice I could give them, because now that I'm able to sit down with myself, I say to myself, oh, like, if I was 25, just bring me back 10 years and let me sit down with myself.
Yeah.
I would have been able to tap into other things, but it's okay because I'm 35. I'm good.
You're good. You still have time. And
Time, yeah.
timing is everything.
But with them being 18, 19, 20, I would say sit down with yourself and ask yourself questions.
Yeah.
Because you are not yourself. You are not your thoughts.
Right.
You're just spirit.
Right.
We have thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts a day. You're not your thoughts.
Right.
Some people have crazy thoughts. You're not that. Some people have good thoughts.
You can be. You can become your thoughts.
You could become your thoughts,
Yeah.
but you're not your thoughts, because your thoughts manifest things. Your thoughts create things.
Right.
All the thoughts that you have throughout your whole day, go do this, go do that, don't do that, don't do that. She's that, he's that, do that. And then you like him, you like her, you like him, you do that. There's so many thoughts we have.
Right.
You're not your thoughts. You're only the ones that you take, polish up, and manifest. And you want to manifest the ones that's going to benefit you. So I would literally tell them, because if y'all listening, literally just please, if you was to take 30 minutes a day, just 30 minutes out of your day, think about it. You're on your phone for hours. You're at school for hours. You're probably at work for hours. You're with your friends for hours. You're watching TV for hours. You don't have time to even know who you are.
Right.
You don't have time. But if you was just to say, you know what, I'm going to wake up 30 minutes earlier just to sit with myself, or I'm going to go to sleep 30 minutes later just to sit with myself, in 30 days, that'll change your whole life. I swear by it. Because things are going to start racing. Life is about creativity and elevation and growth. So when you sit with yourself and you're by yourself, thoughts are going to start coming to you, and you're going to go, what about it?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's going to start becoming fun.
Right.
And then when life becomes fun, that's when things start to happen.
I honestly feel like, when you talk to yourself, ask yourself questions and you deal with yourself that one-on-one time,
Yeah.
you're at your best.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not till you go out and allow other people
To influence.
your thoughts that it changes the game.
It does.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what can we expect from DMTS, Devon Kingsley, in the near future? Could you share some things with us?
Yeah, I would say just stay tuned. Stay tuned, because little by little, you're going to continue to see my growth and see me elevate. It's just, I'm in a time of my life right now where a lot of people think that I'm where I am supposed to be as a person, as an individual, as a self-developer, and I'm still growing just like everybody else.
Well, sky's the limit.
Yeah, and I just feel that right now I'm in a time in my life where we put out so much positive energy that we're about to get hit with everything that's owed to us.
Right.
Everything. And that's just the law of karma. Got good karma and got bad karma.
Right.
I put my share out and I laid the groundwork. I planted a lot of seeds. And what you're going to see from me sooner than later, I'm not even going to put no years on it. What you're going to see from me sooner than later is the platform we spoke about, DMTS Network.
Yes.
We're going to be moving as a unit. And we're going to be in a space where we can help our children.
We here at BCLEARTV enjoyed the interview with you. It was very, very, very educational.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself.
We wish you the best on your journey and all the great success that you continue to accomplish. And we would love to keep up with you, to see you. We see you around.
Yeah.
You're well known. This guy is in the community.
Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. And thank you. Everybody out there, just keep pushing, keep doing your thing. I want to give a big shout out to family, my friends, like I said, my mom, my grandmother, my siblings, my wife, my kids, and also too my cousin. My cousin Mud, he's a music manager out here. He has this new movement going on called hashtag If Not Us Who, and he's just doing great things. And I know that his vision ties with my vision when it comes to creatives and entrepreneurs and artists. So I just want to give a big shout out to him and everybody else that's out there doing their thing. Keep it up.